Is there any former halftime entertainer that you said, dang?
When I was asked to do it, I went back and researched every performance I could find on the internet. And my favorite was Prince.
Ah, the Super Bowl. An institution as beloved and as American as the apple pie. Or Coca-Cola. The Simpsons. Or those medicine adverts that end with a really long list of side effects spoken very quickly. Some of you might watch this and say, "Ha! What does a Brit know about the Super Bowl?" And you'd be right. I don't know my touchdowns from my touchbacks, my quarterbacks from my field goals, Okay, I ran out of terms already. But if there's one thing I do know, it's what makes a fantastic live musical performance. And as I thought about this video, I realized Prince's legendary 2007 Super Bowl show, being the greatest ever Super Bowl show, isn't just a matter of opinion from an admittedly biased Prince fan. There's a strong case to be made that it is simply a fact. So sit back, grab yourself a drink, and let's break this doozy of a show down to its funky core. Before we do, I'd love for you to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for notifications. That would be just super. Sorry. First of all, what do people want from a Super Bowl halftime show? It's very simple. They want to be entertained. And when we say they, we're talking about something that is always one of the single most watched events of the year, meaning the audience is as diverse as it gets. And when it comes to diversity, there was nobody more musically diverse than Prince Rogers Nelson. At this point, 30 years into his musical career, Prince was a veteran, and a veteran of the diverse, having displayed his singing, songwriting, live performance, musical instrument performance, dancing, band leading, and sheer superstardom a countless number of times over the decades, in pretty much every genre of contemporary music you could think of at this point. From blazing rock and roll to gorgeous soul to dance floor shaking classics to iconic pop anthems, by the time Prince did the Super Bowl, he'd covered all that ground and then some. He'd also done enough festivals, award shows, and TV appearances to know how to adapt to any given moment. And when it comes to an arena show of this scale, particularly one connected to a sporting event, good old American rock and roll must come to the forefront. And that's exactly what Prince did, conjuring a setlist that took viewers on a journey of delicious musical delights that contained some key ingredients. Ingredient number 1, his own iconic hits. Typically, anyone who plays the Super Bowl has had a moment during their career where they absolutely dominated the music industry. It's pretty much a requirement in order to get that gig. So therefore, it was a given that Prince's show would be dominated by his biggest selling album of all time. Not only that, Prince even referenced the very structure of the Purple Rain album by opening his set with Let's Go Crazy and ending his set with Purple Rain. The other song of his own writing in the set? Of course, Baby I'm a Star. In fact, the only Prince-written song that appeared in the set not from Purple Rain was the introduction section to 1999, quite possibly his most iconic song not from the Purple Rain album. Ingredient number 2, the diverse history of rock and roll. Although ever since Elvis and the Beatles showed up, rock and roll has been dominated by white acts, with black acts continuing to innovate by creating new genres like funk and hip-hop. Prince wanted to remind everyone that the genre is at its best when it reflects people of all colors. And that seems to be the driving theme behind the choices of covers. We begin with a nod to Queen and their iconic hit We Will Rock You, a band fronted by an Indian man, Farrokh Bulsara, better known to the world as Freddie Mercury. We move on to Proud Mary, originally written and recorded by John Fogerty and Creedence Clearwater Revival, but perfected by Ike and Tina Turner's iconic 1971 cover. In a similar vein, we then get All Along the Watchtower, originally written and recorded by Bob Dylan, but perfected by Jimi Hendrix in 1968. And finally, the modern rock classic Best of You by the Foo Fighters, a band that was never shy about expressing their love for Prince, having covered Darling Nikki early in their career. With these excellent cover choices, somehow, in the space of 15 minutes, Prince showcased the diverse history of rock and roll to an estimated audience of almost 100 million people. Ingredient number 3. An absolute top-notch performance. Fresh off the back of a Las Vegas residency, Prince's band at this point in time were operating like a well-oiled machine, ready for any opportunity that might come their way. As they say, when the moment comes, you had better be prepared, and prepared they were. With Cora Coleman on drums, Josh Dunham on bass, Renato Neto and Morris Hayes on keyboards, Shelby J on vocals, Maya and Nandi the dancers, Prince himself on guitar and vocals, and a little help from Florida A&M University's marching band, this unit delivered something even more than the sum of their parts. They might have made it look easy, but this performance could only have happened as the result of several lifetimes' worth of talent and hard work. From the musicianship, to the vocals, to the dancing, Prince and his band made sure that not a single criticism could be directed at any of them or any single second of this masterful performance. Ingredient number 4. A little bit of shock value. Now, Prince may have been 49 years old and into the later stage of his career at this point, but he did prove with this performance that the original Rude Boy, the man who is responsible for the creation of the parental advisory sticker, wasn't completely gone. By projecting his shadow onto a large sheet whilst turned sideways and holding his love symbol-shaped guitar, the CBS network did indeed receive some complaints about the phallic nature of the image. Now, it might not be Janet Jackson's Nipplegate or MIA's middle finger during Madonna's performance, but it was enough to create a ripple, with Daily News critic David Biancali calling it rude and crude, and the Late Late Show's Craig Ferguson quipping that Prince was obviously very happy to be there. Now, whether this was intentional or not, only Prince would know, and guitars by their nature are very phallic. But when Rolling Stone's Gavin Edwards was asked if Prince's pose was phallic, his reply was, of course it is. Ingredient number 5. Serendipity, God, or both. There are some things in life that just work out. You can't plan for them. The spiritual among us would say they are the work of God, or you might say the perfect serendipity of nature. And thus it was that for the man who wrote and ended this Super Bowl set with one of music's most powerful songs, Purple Rain, that the song itself would be performed in the purple rain. With purple lights flooding the stadium and rain falling on the stadium as Prince performed, his beautiful, mysterious metaphor was made physical for a glorious moment in time. And the moment was not lost on Prince. When the Super Bowl producers informed him of the weather conditions as he was about to hit the stage and asked if he needed anything to be done, he infamously replied saying, "Can you make it rain harder?" And thus, an iconic moment in music history was born. And as someone who stayed up late here in the UK to watch it live, I can honestly say that I knew it was a moment that would go down in history right away. The topic of a future Prince biopic is something that creates a lot of discussion in the Prince fanbase, and that's not for this video. But what I think we can all agree on is that if it did ever happen, the Super Bowl performance would be guaranteed to be part of it. Thanks for watching. My name is Casey Rain, we are The Violet Reality, and we are so truly appreciative of every single one of you that watches our videos. We don't ask for anything in return, but if you'd like to do something to show your appreciation, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss future videos. What are your thoughts on Prince's Super Bowl performance? Did you watch it live? And what memories does it bring back for you? Let us know in the comments. And until next time, peace and be wild.
Hey, St. Paul here. Make sure you go subscribe to The Violet Reality, the funkiest channel on YouTube.